a really, really brief stretch. It's more important, recently we've learned in gymnastics to stretch once your muscles are really warmed up. So we won't spend a large amount of time stretching right at the beginning. Okay, ready? So you're gonna sit in a pike position. This is called a pike. Feet are straight out in front of you. Point your toes. Okay, now arms up, so your back should be like flat against the wall. You're not like hunched over. Up, now we're gonna reach for our toes. Look at your knees, try to hide your ears, and we're gonna count to 30. So you go ahead and count to 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Edit, 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 add a 30-second screen that says that. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Okay, nice. Now we're going to do a really, really quick straddle. And for a straddle, our legs come out to the side, as you probably know. You sit up really straight, arms in front of you, and up. And we're going to take one arm and put it under our belly. And the other arm, we're going to reach all the way over, see if we can touch our toe with that arm that's on the outside. Now, if you can, try to get this front shoulder to touch the ground. And you want to try to look up at the sky right here. Now, a lot of you are probably a lot more flexible than me. And if you are, try to get your shoulder all the way down to the ground and really open up your side muscles right in between your rib cage. This is Ghost. And now arms out to the side and stretch the other way. Sorry about that. That is Ghost. We're going to stretch for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. This should be good entertainment while we stretch. He is a Siberian Husky, in case you're wondering, and he's 5 years old. Aren't you, Ghost? Yeah. Okay, and both arms up, reach up tall, and stretch towards the middle. Okay, try to keep your toes pointed and make sure that your toes are facing the sky and your big toe is not touching the ground. Okay, you're gonna hold your head down for 30 seconds. Okay, great job. Now before we're finished with our straddles, I want to introduce you to one of your conditioning elements that will be in your daily conditioning routine, and those are straddle leg lifts and straddle presses. So first, we're going to take our hands, spear your fingers, put them on the floor. Now, a straddle press is where you push your body up off the ground and press, and then come down to the floor. So a straddle press can eventually be turned into a press handstand, where you press all the way up to a handstand, which I know a few of you can do. Emmy Ertl, Emmy Ferguson. Lots of you, I want that to be on your list. Even little ones like Alan Lowe, Gracie Brett-Cam, there's so many others. So everybody, to get ready for kind of a straddle press challenge, which is going to be how much you can improve, we'll do two things. First, we're going to lift our legs up off of the floor in a straddle. Lift, and then bring them down. Make sure that they're straight. Is this pretty good? Think that looks pretty impressive? No! So always, before you lift a leg off of the ground, whether you're sitting or standing, I call it form check. Just check your form. Make sure it's pretty. You know, you don't want to lift a leg that isn't pretty. So if you're trying to lift your legs like this, so give it a shot. If that's tricky for you, try it on one leg first. So take your hands, put them on one leg, Make sure you're not falling onto your hands. They're piano hands, so they're really delicate, and they pretend like you're touching an old, delicate piano, as my students have heard me say 8,000 times. Okay, so piano hands, and now you're going to not really put weight on your hands, but lift your leg up and down, up and down. So that's a leg lift in a straddle. So I want everybody to do 10 leg lifts. You're gonna do 10 on your right side, 10 on your left side, and then 10 with both legs. This might take you a while, and before you start, you will feel in your hip flexors, these are your hip flexors right here, you're gonna feel the burn, okay? You're gonna say, oh, it hurts! I've been coaching for a long time, and I know it feels like a different kind of pain, but it's really just a huge muscle that really is important to grow, and when you first start working it out, it feels like pretty challenging, but it'll get better, trust me, you'll see over the next weeks. Okay, so piano hands, let's try 10 on each side. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Check them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. Feel the burn yet? If you're really struggling to get through 10, break it out into 2 sets of 5, or even lower than that. You probably have a lot of time, or enough time, to take this as slowly as you need. So feel free to pause and take as long as you need. Okay, into the middle. And if you need to, I'll show you from the side so you can see how I'm sitting. So your legs, you don't want them to be like in a huge straddle. You can bring them a little bit closer. And you can kind of lean back a little bit, but don't lean back like that. You need to keep your back straight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can take a break, and then I'll show you from the other side. Don't forget to point your toes. Sometimes I forget to point my toes, and you can totally call me out for it, but in a nice way. It's good to recognize other people's good gymnastics and improvements as well. 5 more. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on 5, if you want to lift and hold, try to count to your age. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. As you all know, I am 10. So, great job, guys. You might feel it in your hips right now. So, to help kind of stretch it the other way, we're gonna do a lunge on the ground, and then we'll be done with the stretches for this portion. So for your lunge, you're gonna put your knees on the ground like this, and then 1 foot in front. And I will show you from the side. I'll turn this whole guy to the side here. The props are getting in the way. We'll use those later. Okay, so my lunge. This is a lunge position on the ground. So your foot that's in front, you don't want to start with it right here, because your goal is to have your knee over your ankle, but we have to be leaning forward. So if I lean forward like this, my knee is in front of my ankle. And this doesn't really do anything, but it kind of looks like that Napoleon Dynamite pose. Maybe. Okay, so anyway, put your foot out farther than you think, and then lean forward. And as you lean forward, I want you to put your hands on your hips and get your elbows back. And you're gonna try to push your hips forward, and you should feel it right here. We're stretching the muscle that we just warmed up. So my knee is over my ankle, and if this is easy, I want you to grab grab your hands behind your back, try to clasp them together, and look at the sky. And hold it. We always hold it for at least 10 seconds. You can do mini pulses if you would like. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's great. Awesome. And quickly lean your hips back and flex this foot in the front and put your hands on the ground. Okay, this is warming up our hamstring right here. Show you from this side. Okay, so your leg is right in front of you and your hands are one on each side. And you're gonna keep your hands in the same spot. So our hands are glued. And now slide your foot forward and try to sit up tall. So a few things you need to consider or think about for your split are: 1, are your hips squared? So such a strange phrase that I know is confusing at times, but your hips squared means that your belly button is facing that way. So your hips are not rotated out, they're facing forward. So if you take a look at your back leg, and I'll show you from the side. If you take a look at your back leg, sometimes you can tell if your hip is faced out by seeing if your knee in the back is rotated under and you're kind of sitting on your bottom like this. That means your belly button's facing the wall. So we want our belly button to be facing forward. So our back knee is under, and lift and hold it. And count to 60. Oh, doesn't it hurt so good? Oh, good job. Okay, so now that everybody has learned the proper way to get in to a split, do the same thing on the other leg. So we'll start, and I will rotate to the front this time so that you guys understand fully each warm-up step, because we're going to be doing these every day. You know it. Okay. Okay, so down to our lunge, and our foot goes out forward. Ooh, these are my hips, by the way, and you can tell if they're square, because if they're facing you, they are. If they go that way, they're not square. Okay, ready? So we're leaning forward with our hips, but our shoulders are going back. And if you need, or if you want, you can grab your arms behind your back and look up to the sky. And try to think about something else, but really, really lean forward. And lean back, flex this foot in the front. So now we're warming up our hamstring. Piano hands down. And this time, let's try to walk your fingertips out towards your foot. And then try to look at your knee. And if you're able to look at your knee, see if you can reach your hands out farther and get your nose to your knee. And don't forget that you don't want to just stress and see how far you can physically go and then like snap. I know that's a little scary, but seriously, go easily into it. So don't stretch so far that you can't hold it for at least 10 seconds. So be patient, it'll happen. So if a particular stretch becomes easy for you, take a breath, and then when you breathe out, you're gonna breathe your hands out a little bit farther. Okay, good job. Now slide into your split. This should be your other leg split. Remember, our hips are square. This is my not so good leg, and that's okay. And guys, now we'll hold it for a minute. And as you guys hold it, I'm gonna tell you that there might be some of you out there that are like, well, this is my split. And that is fine. That's fine, because everybody has to start somewhere. I'm sure there are a number of you who have your splits who did not have them a few months ago or before you started gymnastics. So I know some of you have worked so hard, and it is possible. So if your split looks like this, and this is as far as you can go, I want you to just think about really stretching this hamstring muscle right here. Flex your foot and just reach as far as you can, and then breathe. Breathe in. And the rest of you should still be holding it right now, no cheating. Breathe out. Breathe in really big. Breathe out and push your arms a little farther. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Push your hands a little bit farther. Okay, now you guys can continue doing that, and before you know it, you will be so much farther down in your split. Okay? So go ahead and continue holding it until you have reached 1 minute, which is 10 more seconds. And you can do it. Come on, for the last 10 seconds, I'll do it with you. See if you can put your arms either out or up. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hooray! If you want to be an overachiever and really get your splits, stay in it. I dare you. Okay.